That had even jaded New Yorkers scratching their heads. A mysterious silver shiny object or object.
Egan described Gacy as rational, premeditated, and evil, who killed his victims
the
like
nation. 900 people killed, including hundreds of children, and a U.S. congressman at the order of a
Area
religious
51
leader.
was actually started as a joke, but now officials are growing worried that people will start to follow through.
Yeah, it was almost exactly 5 years ago.
I shall call him Mini-Me.
Is everyone recording?
Yep, everyone's recording.
Oh, fuck. Just kidding.
Oh,
you had me. You had me.
So, welcome to a mini. I don't know if I was going to say fuck it or not. I was hesitant for some reason. I thought, well, I shouldn't curse, but I curse every single episode, so I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I'm a little loopy right now, and I probably shouldn't be introducing this mini-sode, but I'm going to try my hardest. This week's topic is strange facts or natural phenomenons that just blow your mind. So I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of sciencey, kind of weird, and I'm just gonna jump right into my...
Actually, before we jump in, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Lexi. We have something that you have to do.
I thought I was gonna get away with it.
Nope.
Yeah. We had a Patreon donor. It was Kyle. Let me just read his little note that he left us because it's funny and
He left us a note.
Ooh. Let's see.
Kyle is Lexi's boyfriend.
It says, "Hello,
wondering.
ladies." They know by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to give this shot to Lexi because she makes me watch all that spooky shit. ... Cheers. Which I do. And
Cheers.
also, I chose vodka.
Yeah, I just gagged a little.
Ancestors give me strength. I have to do it with a chaser because I'm a pussy.
That's okay.
That was like too slow almost, you know?
Yeah.
That was, I would
she
have
did
thrown it back. Yeah.
Do you hear that, babe?
Well, if you guys ever want to see us have to go through a shot or choose what alcohol we're drinking, drink-wise, or anything like that, choose our topic, you can do so on our Patreon, who FKEN knows, or who F***KEN knows, who fucking knows which one it is, but it's one of those, and it has our logo, and you should fucking give us money to do weird shit.
Yeah.
Boom.
We have a couple Patreon donors now, so like it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Quality content. Quality content.
It's for the quality content, as Kyle so perfectly stated.
and it's only $5 to get one of us a drink. Just saying.
It's way too cheap. It's cheaper than a fucking
We're
shot.
cheap dates. Yeah.
Apparently. Angela,
Yeah.
what's your first story for us?
All right, so I'm gonna kind of go towards the ocean for all my little stories, which is funny because we just had a sea monster mini-sode. Maybe I was inspired by that. But 70% of the Earth's surface is below the ocean, yet 95% of it remains unexplored to the human eye. So there's a lot of weird shit going on down there. And
Sorry, 95% is unexplored?
yeah.
That's so weird. Why do we want to go to space? I understand why we want to go to space, but can we go into the ocean more?
Yeah.
fucking
So they've been,
insane.
I guess there's actually, so 95% of it is, like 95% of the ocean's surface or bed is unexplored, but they've been trying to map it out. And I think there is actually a big project going on that's like supposed to have the ocean floor mapped on by 2030 using like radar, but that's like aside the point. I'm like, anyways, let's move on to the Milky Sea phenomenon. So, for hundreds of years, sailors have told tales of a mysterious event that takes place far out in the open ocean. They recounted suddenly coming upon miles and miles of pale, milky glowing waters, sometimes stretching as far as the eye can see. Unable to offer any legitimate explanation for the strange phenomenon, most people dismissed accounts of the Milky Sea as tall tales or simply figments of delirious land-starved sailors. So in 2005, however, a group of scientists led by Dr. Stephen Miller of the Naval Research Laboratory in Monterey, California, decided to take a closer look at this supposed mariner's tale. They used data collected from a satellite sensor to confirm a Milky Sea event reported in 1995 by a British merchant vessel called the SS Lima in the Northwest Indian Ocean. So on January 25th in 1995, the Lima reported that on a clear moonless night, while about 150 miles east of the Somalian coast, a whitish glow was observed over the horizon. After 15 minutes of steaming, the ship was completely surrounded by a sea of milky white color with fairly uniform luminescence. It appeared as though the ship was sailing over a field of snow or gliding over the clouds. So they used the satellite maps and pretty much retract the data and realized that at that time there was a glowing white mass about the size of Connecticut that could be seen from the satellite, so literally seen from space. Several years later, experiments determined that the glow was from bioluminescent bacteria. However, what's different about this bacteria is that it glows to attract fish in order to be eaten and survive in their guts. So scientists aren't sure.
Do they survive in us if we eat the fish?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you want to glow, you can give it a shot. So yeah, the bacteria is like unlike any other because it holds a constant glow rather than flashing glows like other bacteria that does this shit. And it also gathers in like masses of like 40 trillion little organisms and the freaking size of Connecticut, so it's a pretty big mass that it forms.
Yeah, it kind of makes it like a ghost ship almost feeling too.
Yeah. So imagine being like a sailor like hundreds of years ago being like, what the fuck is happening?
I think even now I would think the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes me think a little bit of one of our first episodes where Lexi talks about the weird clumps of stuff that were flying from the sky.
Blobs.
Yeah, I know.
Blobs.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the cum jokes when I said the milky water.
I just kept
Taylor,
saying
that's
milky.
your cue. Just kidding.
You know,
Milky?
James has been gone for a whole week, so my mind is not in the dirty gutter right now. It's so far in. There's just everything flies over my face.
Same.
Anyway, sorry, Mom. Lexi, do you have a story for us? I'm gonna drink.
Well,
now.
to keep things in, the phallic theme we have going, I'm just gonna put up a picture of what I'm talking about right now. Oops. There we go. I'm going to tell you guys about the mystery of the Crooked Forest. I don't know if you've heard of it. I'm sure you've had to have seen pictures of this forest where literally all the trees in the forest have like a curvature. So it's these pine trees and they have this like curve in them. To me, they kind of look like, I'm not going to say it, but
you're going to say it.
They look like penises.
It's the penis forest. That's what we're talking
penis
about.
forest.
I almost covered this because I was like, ooh.
Oh, really?
These are interesting looking trees.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of it. So the Crooked Forest is a grove of 400 oddly shaped pine trees located near the town of Gryfino, which is in Poland. The pine trees are planted around 1930 when its location was still within the German province of Pomerania. So from the base, the pine trees grow with a 90-degree sharp bend northward, but then curve back to grow straight up into the sky. So it's kind of like and I'm sure you can visualize, what it looks like just from the sound that I've made for all of our non-YouTubers. It's like a
it's kind of like all
and then straight up.
The trees, it's like they have a stump, and then it turns into a C.
And then it curves a C. Yes, and then it goes straight up.
Yeah.
So despite these unnatural curves, the trees are generally healthy and they can grow up to 50 feet tall.
Wow.
So there are many theories on this mystery, although there is little to no evidence to support any of them, which is kind of weird. It's like, okay, so there's a whole fucking forest of trees looking this way, and we don't know exactly why they look this way.
Yeah.
Like, what
the fuck happened?
Yeah. So some hypothesize that the unique gravitational pull in this particular area causes the trees to grow curved northwards, but the theory doesn't hold up based on scientific scrutiny, given that gravity pulls things downwards and not at a curve. So it's like, that's probably not it. Some other guesses include heavy snowfall in the area weighed down the trees as they were sprouting, and that caused them to grow crooked. But it's so crazy. Like, they're all like so similarly crooked, as you can see in this photo that I'm showing. Like, and they're all like curved the same way, which is, I don't know, it's very strange.
Strange little patch of forest there.
Yeah, so again, they were planted in the 1930s, and it's estimated that the trees were 7 to 10 years old when they first started experiencing the weird curvature in their trunks. Curved trunks, am I right, ladies?
I love them curves.
So yeah, who fucking knows why these trees are curved like that or why they look like that? It's still a mystery to this day, which I think is really cool that there are still things in this life found in nature, especially, that are mysteries to us. So
that's really cool.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Taylor, what's your first story?
So my first story is to do with lightning, and it's in Venezuela, so you know it's a different language out there, and I'm not going to say anything right, but here we go.
Woo!
So I'm going to talk about the Catatumbo lightning, which is, I'm just pretty much reading straight off of Wikipedia. So thank you, Wikipedia. I actually donated like $10 because they're like half this episode, half of this podcast is me just speaking what Wikipedia tells me. Anyway, so the Catatumbo lightning. Wow, I put lighting with all my notes, I'm noticing. Okay. Anyway.
Lighting.
Well, in my defense, I was in the middle of one of my classes when making these notes, so
Fair enough.
my mind was a little bit split. Catatumbo lightning. It is an atmospheric phenomenon which occurs over the mouth of the Catatumbo River, which here is a little picture of the map, where it empties into Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. So as you can see, I highlighted it so nicely where that lake is, and so it's kind of right when that lake goes into, that river goes into the lake. Woo! I've also had 2 of these today, so and I'm at the bottom of this one.
Which has an upside down label.
That looks like an octopus.
Maybe. Who fucking knows? It originates from a mass of storm clouds at a height of more than 1 kilometer and occurs during 140 to 160 nights a year. That's almost like half a motherfucking year. 10 hours per day and up to 280 times per hour. Here's one of the first photos of the lightning. It's like fucking intense. Like, you can see so many, because when lightning happens, you can see like one big flash and then it could like vein out to be bigger. This is like multiple of those flashes veining out, and it's insanity. Anyway, 160 nights a year, 10 hours per day, up to 280 times per hour. It occurs over and around Lake Maracaibo, typically over a bog area formed where the Catatumbo River flows into the lake, as I said. The lightning changes in frequency throughout the year and is different from year to year. For example, it ceased from January to March of 2010, apparently due to drought, leading to speculation that it might have been extinguished permanently. Prussian naturalist and explorer Alexander von Humboldt described the lightning in 1826. Italian geographer, Augustin Codazzi described it in 1841 as, quote, like a continuous lightning. It's positioned such that, located almost to the meridian of the mouth of the lake, it directs the navigators as a lighthouse. So it's kind of like, hey, you're home. What's up?
Nice.
Don't get struck by lightning.
Like your final obstacle to get back home.
Yeah. Can you make it through? Are you worthy to make it home? The phenomenon is depicted on the flag and the coat of arms of both the state of Zulia, which also contains the lake Marcia whatever I've been saying. Here's the little flag there. And it's also mentioned in the state's anthem. So this motherfucking lightning, especially since it happens like half of the year continuously, it makes sense of why it would be integrated into their culture so much.
That's
so
so
to be in the
cool.
flag and the coat of arms of this town. So the phenomenon has been known for centuries as the, quote, lighthouse of Maracaibo, since it's visible for miles around Lake Maracaibo.
Nice.
So these storms are thought to be as the result of winds blowing across the lake and the surrounding swampy plains. These air masses meet the high mountain ridges of the Andes, the Perisha Mountains, and Meridas Cordillera. Don't hate me because I know I'm saying these wrong. I'm just trying my best. Enclosing the plain from three sides. The heat and moisture collected across the plains create electrical charges, and as the air masses are destabilized by the mountain ridges, result in thunderstorm activity. The phenomenon is categorized by almost continuous lightning, mostly within the clouds. The lightning produces a great quantity of ozone, though its instability makes it unlikely that it has any effect on the ozone sphere. And here's another awesome picture of the lightning, because it's crazy. So there has been multiple studies to look into see what the true cause is. And between 1966 and 1970, Russian researchers Andrei Zavorovsky investigated the area 3 times with assistance from the University of the Andes. He concluded that the lightning has several epicenters in the marshes of Juan Manuel de Aguas National Park, Claras Aguas Negras, and West Lake Maracaibo. In 1991, he suggested that the phenomenon occurred due to cold and warm air currents meeting around the area. The study also speculated that an isolated cause for the lightning might be the presence of uranium in the bedrock.
Oh, interesting.
That's pretty cool. Dude, I bet you that's where all the electric type Pokemon are.
There we go. Between 1997 and 2000, a series of 4 studies proposed that the methane produced by the swamps and the mass oil deposits in the area was a major cause of the phenomenon. The methane model is based on symmetry properties of the methane. Other studies have indicated that this model is contradicted by the observed behavior of the lightning, as it would predict that there would be more lightning in the dry season, January through February, and less in the wet season, April through May and September through October. Excuse me. And finally, the team from the that's in Spanish, but University del Zulia has investigated the impact of different atmospheric variables on Catatumbo lightning's daily, seasonal, and year-to-year variability, finding relationships with the intertropical convergence zone, El Nino, southern oscillation, the Caribbean low-level jet, and the local winds and convective available potential energy. Using satellite data, 2 groups of researchers have provided analysis of the lightning location, timing, and number of discharges per square kilometer. So there's a lot of a lot of really good theories as to why this is happening, but it's never been 100% proven as to exactly the cause of it. So who fucking knows why there's so much lightning here? But I really want to go there one day and see it. I don't know if it's still continuing because it sounds like it ended in 2010, but I didn't look further than that. I just trusted Wikipedia.
And it only occurred in Venezuela?
In that area in Venezuela.
That is hella cool. That is like, if this is a phenomenon that continues, then I would like to go see that because that would be. I love fucking thunderstorms and lightning.
Yeah, me
it's been
too.
so long since I've been a part of one.
They're the best.
Yeah,
we just had some up here that caused fires, but yeah, they were fun, in the moment, and then it's like, oh shit,
it was all fun and games
stays
until
on
people
fire.
start losing their freaking houses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
so round 2 of stories. Angela, start us off.
Here it goes. So this one is exciting. Scientists had discovered a jellyfish which can live forever. It has the nickname. It has the nickname immortal jellyfish for how it outsmarts death. So it turns out that once the adult form of the 4.5 millimeter wide species, which is called, I'm going to butcher this, Pteropsis dohri, have reproduced. So once that thing, I'm going to call it TD. So once the TD species have reproduced, they don't die, but instead they transform themselves back to their juvenile pulp state in a Benjamin Button style. So their tentacles retract, their bodies shrink, and they sink to the ocean floor and start their cycle all over again. So yeah, among laboratory samples, all the adult TDs observed regularly undergo this change, and not just once. They can do it over and over and over again. So thus, the only way they can die is if they get consumed by another fish or disease strikes the jelly. So although the species
disease.
Yeah, no. My weakness. So, although the species had been known for about 100 years, it wasn't until the 1990s that this incredible phenomenon was discovered. Scientists still are unsure exactly how it is that the cells are able to regress and regrow, but the immortal jellyfish could hold promise for fighting diseases like cancer in humans. So, there are still many mysteries surrounding the TD. While the process of reverting from its adult phase to a polyp was observed several times, it hasn't been observed yet in nature, only in laboratory environments. But the fuck, like, imagine if they crack the code on whatever's going on in that, and people are able to freaking Benjamin Button
live
themselves.
Forever.
No thanks.
Overpopulation. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
We're already overpopulated.
Yeah,
we don't need to live forever.
we are.
Sorry.
So yeah, I thought that
Wow,
was crazy.
that's fucking crazy.
Like, something is
fucking
actually
crazy.
pretty much immortal. That's what? No, I don't know. No big deal.
It makes me want to really squish
The
all
vampire.
of them and just be like, "Pow! You're not immortal, bitch.
Die.
No one is. I am God." I'm such a bitch. Okay.
What'd they do to
What's
you,
your next
Taylor?
story? Everything.
Oh my
They did
God.
everything.
What did a jellyfish ever do to you? Yeah, no. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys about...
Wait. Sorry. I have a picture of the jellyfish.
Show it!
Boom. There it is. It's so tiny. So that's it. And then here's my picture of the milky sea that I forgot to show.
Of all the cum in the sea.
All right.
Taylor, milky sea. Milky
sea.
Do you have anything to say? Anything?
Well, I just said the
Nothing.
cummy water, so like I don't know what more you want me to say.
Lexi's like more explicit. Just kidding.
Taylor, rate this shit R. My uncle already was all like, "Hey, I want to listen to the podcast again. Did you ever like stop swearing so much?" I'm like, "Fucking is in the title. No."
No. We still swear a lot. It's fine.
Sorry, not
okay.
sorry.
I'm going to tell you guys now about the mystery of Devil's Kettle Falls. So I'd never heard of this. And here's a photo of it. I'll just leave this up for a bit. So it's this gorgeous waterfall in, I believe, Minnesota. But there's something very mysterious about it. So in this photo, and I'm sorry, you guys, I don't have the photo for you because I didn't upload anything to the Google Drive.
That's okay.
But just use your imagination.
What's
So
it called
on
again?
the right side of the waterfall, it's, like a normal waterfall, like flowing into a body of water. And on the left side, you see like another waterfall flowing into this hole. And that's very interesting because no one knows where that hole goes. Dun, dun, dun. So.
Ooh, I
this
see it now. I Googled
waterfall-
it. Sorry.
Did you Google it? Okay, perfect.
called-
I'm glad you Googled it.
What is it called?
Devil's Kettle Falls.
Cool.
Mhm. So the one on the left side goes into this hole where it's like, where the fuck does this go? So basically, this waterfall has mystified geologists and, other scientists because they're like, where the fuck does this go? It just appears to disappear forever. So the Brule River flows along this waterfall, which basically feeds the water to Devil's Kettle. And essentially, the more like geologists and scientists have looked into this, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So it's a ton of water pouring into this waterfall every minute of every day, which is strange. And they're like, well, where we know one side of this waterfall is going into this little, spring and leading down into a lake, but where does the rest of it go? And they can't figure it out. So it's just like fucking weird.
Have they sent anyone down into the hole?
I don't think so.
You couldn't pay me enough to go in there, but
it's so much water. Yeah. So one theory is that it's a lava tube that maybe formed beneath the falls, but over time this theory kind of, falls apart for various reasons. They're like, no, there probably wasn't a lava tube in this area, and blah 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 blah. Scientists, fucking skeptics.
They ruin everything.
Yeah, they do.
They have to explain everything.
But yeah, so they just basically describe this waterfall as a very powerful system. It's a ton of water, and it's year round too. How some waterfalls are okay, some time of year it's not as powerful but due to the rain or whatever. This waterfall is always going off. So I would love to visit this place and just kind of look at it. And some people claim to feel a certain vibe or power at Devil's Kettle waterfalls. Even with a name like that, I could see it totally being just whoa, this is a powerful spot.
To make a sacrifice.
Who fucking knows? Exactly.
Go drown animals in a pool.
Yes.
Because our last episode talked about
that.
I'm not this
remind me of that, Angela.
It's
my
totally,
God.
Yeah, it's full circle around water.
We just drown other humans because fuck them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's just do murder instead of animals.
Yeah.
Much better.
But yeah, it's crazy that it's a mystery to this day where this water goes and this waterfall. But that's what I have for you.
Good story.
My last mystery of the night.
Well,
Nice.
You have a mystery waterfall. I've got a mystery spot, which, fun fact, I've been to.
Hey.
So the mystery spot has a history because I went there, what was it, my second year of college. My friend Kaylee was living in Santa Cruz because she was going to that university there. And I went to visit her. We went to the mystery spot, and it was super easy to get tickets. And so we're like, woo. Well, then when Lexi and our friend Maria and I were driving back down from San Francisco, we're like, oh, let's go through the redwoods. Let's go to mystery spot. Well, it was a 4-hour wait, so we're like, fuck this. So Lexi missed out on actually going and experiencing it. But
I really wanted to see it. But we went there. It just didn't get to go inside.
Yeah.
Too long of a wait.
So the mystery spot is in Santa Cruz in the redwoods, as I was kind of saying. And here's a little picture of the entrance. Where's that photo? There it is. So the mystery spot was discovered by George Prather in 1939. Prather was an electrician, mechanic, and inventor before he opened the mystery spot. He was born near Fresno and moved to Santa Cruz in 1920. He owned a welding shop, and this is not even important anymore. Anyway, after World War II, it was kind of that time frame that everyone's morale was a little bit more up and stuff after the whole depression and everything. So
after everyone was down, everyone got back up again.
Everyone got super high. So he became intrigued by a show that featured interesting spots and unexplained things, kind of like a tourist trap type of situation in Oregon. And he was like, oh, I'm sure that there's something like that up in these woods. Oh, and it was the Oregon vortex, which maybe we'll cover another time. So, according to a newspaper report, Prother bought 3 acres on the hill in 1940 after he felt slightly dizzy while walking and was interested in his dizziness. The newspaper also reported that during further exploration of his property, he found his compass jittering. He built a, quote, crazy house and opened the site to the public in June of 1941. The site is what is known as the Gravity Hill and was the first of its kind to be built in California. Tour guides lead visitors through the attraction and perform various demonstrations to showcase the site's unusual effects. So not only does it tinker with your compass, and honestly, this was like 5 years ago, so I don't remember how I felt about being at the spot. So I can't say that I felt any sort of dizziness, but you definitely get like psyched out being there. And before I go into those kind of things that the tour goes over and stuff of that nature, fun fact, the mystery spot was nominated in July of 2014 to be designated as a California historical landmark and was officially declared at one in August of 2014. So it is a natural, it's a landmark. So fun.
Cool. That's cool. That guy must, well, is that guy still
He's
alive?
Dead. His son is running.
I was like, wait, what year was it that he did this?
1941 that he opened it.
So he could have possibly been alive, like 100 something years old. But,
It's fine. We don't do math. His son is, from my understanding, still running the property, but I could be wrong on that. Mm-hmm. But the mystery spot is a Gravity Hill, and here's a photo of the house that he built. And as you can see, it's kind of tilted to the side. We'll get into that in a minute. So the mystery spot is a gravity hill, which is tilt-induced visual illusion. So this house is built straight up, but because of this area in the woods, it appears to be tilted. So it wasn't built to be tilted. It wasn't shifted. It is just appears to be tilted when it is straight up. The illusion experienced by visitors results from the oddly tilted environment as well as standing on a tilted floor. Inside the tilted room of the mystery spot, misperceptions of the height and orientation of objects occur. Even when people are standing outside on a level ground, the slant of the building in the background causes misperceptions as humans judge the height of people using the slant of the roof rather than the true horizon. And so as I said, I did go here. And one of the visual illusions includes, like, they take like this little rod that's tilted, and they'll put a ball goes down it, and before it hits kind of like that down part, it goes back up.
What the fuck?
And it has nothing to do with any tricks or anything like that. It's just the tilt of the gravity. It just makes it go back up.
So weird. Are there any like curved pine trees near the mystery house?
They're all built. They all grow a little bit to a tilt. I took a picture, but you can't really see it, so I'm not going to share of the trees. Weird. But let's see. Okay, so psychologists at Berkeley state that all the misperceptions stem from the simple fact that the house is slanted at a 20-degree angle. Professor William Princemetal states, quote, when the perceiver's body also is tilted, the distorting impact on vision is greatly magnified, up to 2 or 3 times. Another point he makes is that distorted orientation causes other senses to fall back while one's visual senses become heightened. People standing at impossible angles and water flowing uphill are related to the angle at which the house sits. So when you walk into the house, you saw how it was like tilted and stuff, but when you walk into the house, they have this giant ball on a string, and God, I'm trying to think of what it did, but I think it, like, if you swing it, it would swing, but you know when you're on a pendulum and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it slowly like stops and goes standstill? Well, like this would go back and forth and kind of swivel a little bit and then go back and like swivel. So it wasn't like that straight line that it should be. And then also they have a couple areas in the house that you can stand on or reach. So here's a photo of me, so you can see me in the doorway, and I was standing right up, and then I held it and my body went forward when I should be hanging just in the doorway. So I'm like at a tilt if you could see the photo, or if you want to go to our website or anything like that, these photos will be there. But I'm like at this weird tilt, and I don't feel like I'm being pulled that way. I just feel like I'm being pulled down when I'm not being pulled down. I'm being pulled to an angle. So other suggestions have been proposed to explain the reason behind the mystery spot's odd gravitational rules and illusions. Tour guides suggest that, quote, a meteor which fell in ancient days and left a magic circle is the cause behind the mystery, and suggest the electromagnetic field on the hill deters wildlife. These are theories proposed by guides for the entertainment and not scientific reasoning. My guide also said something about an alien because I remember it stuck with me. And here's a photo. I'm standing completely straight in this photo, but I am tilted because of the way that the land is. And then to end it, here's a picture of me and my friend standing up straight again, but it looks like we're leaning forward. I might have been leaning forward just a little bit so that I was still in the photo, but like... For real, we're standing up straight. It feels like we're standing up straight, but we're looking at an angle. And it's not because of the way that the house is built. It's because of the weird gravitational things that are going on. And it's not scientifically proven as to why these things happen, why the ball goes back up instead of going all the way down and staying. It's fucking weird. Go check it out if you have a chance. I checked. It is open now to the public, even during COVID time. So,
ooh.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. That's what I should do for my birthday.
There we go.
Yes.
Just drive down to Santa Cruz. It's great.
Nice. So I have one more story for us. One more like weird, interesting thing. And this actually inspired me to choose this topic for us to cover or go over. Nice. David Blaine, he was recently on Joe Rogan and he was talking about this. So here it is. Every year on the same day at the same hour, usually within the same minute, corals of the same species spawn in perfect synchronicity. Some believe that it has to do with cues from the lunar cycle and the water temperature. However, distance has no effect. So you think, okay, if it's water temperature, if it's 200, 300, 500 miles away, the water temperature should be a little bit different, you know? But they literally spawn almost to the minute at the exact same time. And if you place a chunk of coral in a bucket beneath the sink in London, that chunk would in most cases spawn at the same time as other coral of the same species around the world. So
not even in the ocean it could do this.
Not even in the ocean it could do this. So they don't know how, or like they know it why, and the reason why it does it is because it's essential for their survival, which I'll get into. But the coral is one of the most primitive animals on Earth. It has no eyes, no ears, and no brain, yet it can communicate in a way far more sophisticated than anyone ever thought. So the release of egg and sperm bundles for external fertilization is essential for the coral's survival. But I guess coral colonies have been dying off at record rates. 50% of the corals along Australia's Great Barrier Reef have died, and in some areas of the Caribbean, populations have shrunk by 95%. So in 50 years, the corals may be gone, along with one of nature's greatest unsolved mysteries. So essentially, they have to spawn in synchronicity because I think there's a half an hour time span that their eggs and sperm can actually gestate or whatever. So if all the species don't do it at the same time, then they won't reproduce. And so it's essential for the survival, but they don't know exactly how they communicate the exact minute of it, because it can be in a completely different area, like miles and miles away, but still spawn. And people are saying that the corals are telepathic, so they're like, "Whoo, like, how are they communicating?" And one thing people are talking about is that it has to do with lunar cycles, which I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, if like the lunar, like if it can sense the pull of the moon, and like all of them sense it and just go at the same time. But it's weird, because different species all have different spawning times, so they all don't just spawn at the same time or in the same like day. I think some of them spawn during the same season, but they all choose like different times. So if one species spawns in an hour, then like 3 hours later a whole different species does their thing. So,
interesting. That's fucking
Whoa.
radical.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, so I thought that was kind of a strange thing. That was like, whew.
Imagine if humans did that. If humans spawned at the same time every day, like across the board, that'd be fucking crazy.
There's 1 minute of
Yeah.
the year that all of us just
You
burst
have
into like a
1 minute.
spontaneous world orgy. Go.
Go,
Now,
go.
everyone just
If anyone wants to pop a baby, you gotta jump in.
you have 30 minutes.
Oh boy.
Well,
Would that
anyways.
result in everyone having the same birthday?
Maybe.
Alrighty, let's read some oracle cards. Oh wait, tarot. Tarot.
Tarot.
What is it? Tarot. There we go.
Bro.
All right, so
Taylor drunk.
I'm gonna pull this card.
How are you feeling, Lexi?
Drunk. Can you tell with my eyes closing and opening again?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
So I pulled the Page of Wands, and here this card is. I'm gonna just pop that right there. The Page of Wands. It is new inspiration and enthusiasm, a motivating spark, going in a new direction, starting something new. Wanting to explore and discover new things, a new creative project, message, or new information about a project or travel. So take that as you will. It could be in regards to something you're going through today, or how your day or week is going, whatever really resonates with you.
Or it's the first time that you're listening to our podcast and you're like, fuck, I should just stick to it. It's my new
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, that's your sign.
This is your new start. You're welcome.
I guess this is not so much of a mini-sode, but we're going to still call it a mini-sode. So
Pretty
until
mini.
next time, friends, bye.
Bye.
Bye.